Hello, this is a Blender tutorial and we're just going to talk through how to use and navigate around Blender. This course is going to be split up into 4 main parts. Part 1 will be using Blender to build the object you want. Part 2 will be texturing the object that you want to use within Secondlife or within Blender. Step 3 will be baking light onto your textures, ready to bring them in to Secondlife or to use them in Blender. And then step 4 will be the last final one, which will be to get it to go into Secondlife with a low cost polygon rate and being able to work it within there. Okay, so let's get straight ahead. This is going to be part 1. We're going to be showing you how to navigate Blender. So when you first start up Blender, you'll notice there is a big panel that will appear here. Just click anywhere off the panel and you'll be able to see this object. You can use the mouse wheel to zoom in and zoom out. There's going to be a lot of shortcut keys I'm going to be giving you and a lot of letters. So my advice now would be to stop the video, get yourself a notepad and pen, because you are gonna need it, because there's a hell of a lot of shortcuts in Blender. Not many things are done by the navigation panel. Okay, let's continue. So first thing you need to know is that this is an object. If you push the mouse wheel in and hold it, you can spin around the object. The mouse wheel in and out takes you in and out, and what we use as well is the number pad. If you use the dot/delete key if you're using a laptop, which is normally next to 0, it will zoom in to that particular place, whatever you've got selected. Now that is a very good button. Trust me, using that a lot when it comes to doing work. So let's delete this object by pressing delete, and you just press yes, delete. So that's that gone now. So we've got nothing on a panel. What I would first advise is that if you want to do anything, you normally find a picture of something you want to use, you want to do, okay? But we haven't got a picture right now. But what you would do if you wanted to upload a picture to here is go press N, that's N for Norman, and then you go down and you look for background images, which is right here. You open the panel up, click on background image, tick, and you add an image. So let's have a look. Press open and we'll add a picture. Be careful what I add because I never know what's in here. Let's have a look. Desktop, SWE, logos and graphics. Let's add this new blood texture. This was done by Keymon. You did a great job. Okay, so now I've done it, I've added it. It's definitely there, and it's got the eye icon showing it is there, but I can't see it. I can't see the texture. Okay, so this is where the numbers come into play. If you press numbers 1 through to 9, eventually it will appear. So keep going. There you go. So it was on number 7, and then you can see it. So you can see I've got a texture here. So all I did was put it into textures. So it was N for Norman. That brings this panel up. Scroll down till you get to background images. Press the tick, press the drop down, add the image. And then once you've added the image from your desktop, press the number keys 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 until you see the image. It's normally on 7. And there you can see now I can work on top of this if I wanted. So next thing will be to create a object. So we go to create down the side here in the tools menu. And for this, we're probably going to want a plane. A plane is like a box without any bottom, so it's like just a flat box. Now you can see I've put it down. I pressed the button there, but it didn't appear because it's over there. Now sometimes it might appear on its side, so let's put it on its side. Okay. So it might appear like that. If that's the case, remember the magic button of dot that's next to 0. That'll zoom us right into what we're looking at. So it automatically selects it. Rotate, you use the numbers. So you press 90 for 90 degrees. And then everything is moved on the X, Y, or Z axis. So if I press 90, and then I press X. Forget that. Control and Z is your magic friend. If you ever any problem, Control-Z undoes. So that was because I hadn't selected it. So just make sure I select it this time by clicking on it. So if I press 90, and then it's not working. As you can tell, things don't work always to plan. Let me just delete that and start again. So click plane, there you go. So if I wanted to rotate it, I'd press R for rotate, then 90, and then I can choose X, Y, or Z. You see it moves? So X, Y, Z. It's not doing any damage at the moment, as long as I do it. So I pressed rotate, which is R. I can put in any decimal point, so I can put in 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 200 degrees, and then X, Y, or Z to rotate it. So we want it flat like that. To move it, you press G. That's G for grab. So you press G for grab, and then you can move it again on the axis. So Z, X, or Y. Now it shows you the lines for X and Y, but it won't show you them for Z, because Z is up and down, so you can't see it. So let's say we want to move it on the y-axis. We can literally only drag it now with a mouse on that y-axis. This is great. You might think, why do we need this? The reason is we're working with a three-dimensional object, which means that when you copy another one, you won't know if it's at the same height as this one until you take it sideways like this. You can see that we're actually above the workspace that's here. So if I was to press grab again and press Z, you'll see that I can see the Z axis. So let's move it up so we're in the workspace. Press that magical dot button that zooms us in, and then press 7 so we're right in the top so we can see our thing. So we're going to press grab again, which is G, and then we're going to move it over here. Okay. So now we'll use our dot to zoom in. Now we want to scale this down because I want to make this N part here. So what I would do is I would press S for scale, and then I can just move the mouse in and it will scale it down. And again, I'm going to press G, and then the direction I want, the axis, move it in, G again, and the axis, and down it comes. Okay, so now we've got, I'll just scale up a little bit. Now we've got our square. Now the only issue is that I want it to be long, like to about there. Now I can't do that because I've only got a square. So what we do is we go into the edit mode. Now you can do that from the tab down here and press edit, or you can just press tab once and that will put you into edit mode. We then have a bunch of selections that are down here on this panel here. We have the vertex selection. That means when I left click with the mouse, I will select the vertex only. If I have the edge selection, which means when I left click, I get this. Sorry, when I right click is select. When I right click, I'll get just the edge. And then there's face selection. So if I right click, I will get the face of the object. Now in this case, I want the edge. So I would click edge and get that edge. Now, when you press G now for grab, you will only control that edge. So I've pressed G and then Y axis, and then when I pull, I actually pull up just that edge. Now that's great. Now we've got this bar, but we need a bar that goes to there. How do we do that? It's very simple. We do E for extrude, or we press E for extrude. You then pick an axis, Y, and now when we drag it, we'll create another prim or another vert or another object from that. Now that's great. So now I've got that up to there, but I didn't want it like that. I wanted it like this. So how do I do that? There's a few ways of doing that, but the easiest way would be to select the vertex selection, grab the one we want, and pull that down to here. Now that's great, but then if we look in here, we've got two of these. Now we don't want two, we want it to be nice and crisp. We don't want any of these stupid verts that are going to cause problems later on. So how do we fix that issue? Well, what you do is you delete this vert. So how we do that is we just press delete, and it will choose what we want to do. Vertexes, edges, or faces. In this case, we want to get rid of the vertex. So great, we've got rid of the vertex, but that's got rid of the whole triangle. Now what do? It's really simple. We need to create a face. And how we do that is we select the vertexes we want. So we select one, we hold down left shift, and we select the other two. Now we've got all three selected. We press F for face, and it creates us a face. And you can see now that we've got the shape that we wanted. And now it's really easy because we just need to create another one that goes over here, don't we? So what we do is we take that edge and then we extrude, which is E, and then we pick a selection that we want. So we want, in this case, we want the Y-axis. I think it's Y. Let's have a look. Ooh, you don't want to be doing that. If in controls, you press Control and Z, that undoes. And then you can always go back and try again. Okay. Now I can already tell that there's something wrong with this piece. Because it's darker than the other pieces. What that means is that these are facing us, but that one's not facing us. So what we need to do with this one is we need to flip the normals. So what you do is you go to Mesh, Normals, and we're going to calculate outside or in. You'll see it change to light when you get the right one. And now I know that that's facing the right way. It's facing this way. So when we come to texture it in Second Life, we don't get the weird thing happen. Okay? And then we would carry on. So in this case, we'd probably adjust that one there. So I'm just going to quickly just carry on doing stuff. I'm going to do it quite quickly so you can see how quick you can work. Once you've practiced a bit at it, you'll find you'll pick it up quite quickly. So in this case, I've got a bar here, but I actually need a break point there. And how I do that is I press Control and R for ring selection, and it creates me a ring there. Now, if I want multiple rings, I just scroll the wheel up or scroll the wheel down. Now, in this case, I only want one, so I left click, drag it to where I want it, and then click again. Now it's created us a loop there. So then when I select here, I can then extrude this point. Can then select that point. There's probably a bunch of people yelling at me now going, "You're doing it all wrong." But this is just an easy tutorial on how to do it quickly. Okay, so now we've got an N pretty much. That's sort of the same shape as the object we were looking at. And this is how you do it. This is how you build. Now, if I wanted to make this 3D, there's loads of ways. I could use the styles tools. I could use I could use all sorts of stuff in here. But the easiest way, if you're just learning out, is literally to go to face selection, select all the faces that you want. So all of these, holding the shift button in, and then what we do is we would extrude these, and then we'll just extrude them up. And there you go. Now you got 3DN. Okay. If you get anything weird like what's happening currently, which is that we don't seem to have a back area, remember you can just create the faces if there's any problems like this, just by selecting the places you want to have a face and press an F. Look, simple as this. Just click in the verts, and I'm pressing F. Click in the verts that I want, and I press F. Click these verts I want, F, F, and F. Now you can see that these two here are not working as the other ones. They're darker. And remember what we had to do? We have to recalculate the normals. So we do the normals, and we recalculate them. We just find out it'll either be inside or outside. In this case, it's outside. And now you can see everything is nice and grey. And then we go back to 7, and we can see that we have the n, like that. When you're happy with it, you can just go to object mode, like so. And you're ready to do some more work. Now there's other things you can do with this. I could smooth this off, and you do that in the tools section, and there's a thing here called smoothing, and I could smooth it, and that would make it a little bit more smoother when it comes into world. You can do that, and we're going to show you how to do the edges, and we're going to show you how to do the textures in the next showing. Thank you very much, Google. That's not what we wanted. Anyway, that's how you make an an. So that's the first tutorial. Alright, great. Enjoy.